Is it possible that maybe you might be holding yourself captive in your own reality if you're not willing to criticize your own belief systems? We certainly see that on the Facebook news feeds a lot. People fighting to be right. It's like that's the one priority for a lot of the fighting that I see going on. People just want to be right and don't leave any room to constructively criticize their own belief systems. And I think when that happens, we hold ourselves prisoner to our own realities. Therefore, we can't improve anything. It's one thing to stake your existence on a belief and a purpose and an idea if it's actually helping you. But if it's not and things around you are just crashing and there's a pattern of this happening where things are crashing, maybe it's time to criticize the belief and maybe change it and swap it out for a new one so that things around me are no longer crashing and falling, but things can improve. So I'll give you an example just in my own world. Uh, Once upon a time when my job was offshore to India for cheaper wages and suddenly I found myself without a job and without a paycheck, my belief at the time was I'm totally broke because my boss was a liar and a rat bastard and sold all of our jobs to India. So now I have no money and I can't afford to live and it's because of my boss. And that kept me in a pretty bad place for a little while after that. But then eventually I learned some new information, picked up some new ideas, and I shattered that belief. I just totally got rid of it and I replaced it with a much better belief. And that belief was, okay, my boss doing what he did, it's kind of logical sounding on one level, took away my only source of income, so of course that's why I didn't have any money. No. The reason I had no money is because and really no way to support myself at that time and all the problems that surround that is because I was doing nothing at all to build residual and passive income of my own. What was passive and residual income? I couldn't even answer that for you back then, as a lot of people today can't answer what passive and residual income is. They have no idea. But once I started to learn about it, and then I realized, oh my God, my belief system is totally effed up. I'm totally screwing myself. My boss didn't screw me over. I screwed myself over. Well, I mean, my old boss screwed us over as well. But as far as my circumstances of where I was, not having a way to support myself, that wasn't my boss's fault. That was my fault. I didn't know anything about passive and residual money, so I didn't know how to make it. But since then, this was a long time ago. This was in August of 2007. But since then, this was April of 2006. The last day of my last job was April 1st, 2006, April Fool's Day, but it wasn't a joke. It was for real. And then in August of 2007, I learned some new things and I swapped out that really bad idea for a better idea. And now I'm no longer needy or codependent on a boss to take care of me anymore. And by the way, to this day, almost a decade later, almost 10 years it's been now, I still don't have a job and I don't want a job, but I don't need a job anymore. And I bought my house in cash and I have no consumer debt, and I take trips and I travel and I have no boss, and I'm able to supply lower income families nice quality clean places to live without threatening their ability to put food on the table and all these other things. I could never do that if I had a job or if I held on to that old belief. So those old beliefs were devastating. Sometimes you have to look beyond the facts and what the eyes can see and what the ears can hear and develop a new belief system and really get rid of an old one that doesn't work, or maybe it used to work but times change so it doesn't work anymore, so it's time to get rid of an old belief and time to stop holding yourself prisoner to holding on to really old, obsolete, bad ideas. And the number one bad idea that I see out there everywhere, in my personal opinion, based on the enormous colossal evidence, is that having a job is somehow intelligent and safe and secure for a source of income. And I'm not saying that to put down jobs, but just to put your codependency and your neediness and your reliance into a job and having no other way to support yourself and cover yourself financially is the single most commonly that makes sense. I was a straight D student and even I still figured this out, so if I can, you can as a D student. But anyway, relying on a job for your livelihood is the single dumbest thing that anybody could do, including a bunch of smart people that are way smarter than I am and have IQs much bigger and had a much better grade point average and straight A students. I was a straight D student. But even I know better than to rely on a job for money. That's just, that's when you put yourself in a position to be absolutely controlled and manipulated out of money dependency, or you can't pay your bills. That is not an intelligent place to be, which is ironic because a lot of people with very high IQs, people that got straight A's in school, are doing it. They put their family's vulnerability and security and safety into that, of which there is none. That is the highest risk possible you can ever take with your family's lives, is to put it into an asset that you don't own and can be taken away from you at any time. You have zero control over that. And zero control means highest risk possible. So just the fact that so many people believe a job is synonymous with safety and security is the epitome of stupidity, even if you're really highly intelligent. So don't take that as like a personal knock against you. I was very stupid in school. I was educably retarded. I was in special ed classes and I still got held back a year and got D grades. And even I figured this out. So I had a change of belief, and you have to have a change of belief. And the only thing that gets in the way of a change of a belief is to be driven by an ego, to hold tight, fight tooth and nail for really bad, old, obsolete ideas that really don't serve you, maybe never have, or maybe used to, but don't anymore. So you got to be willing to criticize those. But before you can do that, for a lot of people, we have to put our ego in check, big time, because we care more about the preservation of our self-image in front of whoever, and we care more about being right than we do about maybe some growth and some progress in our lives and doing what is right instead of being right all the time. Do you know how liberating it is and how freeing it is to be wrong where you're wrong, and to know it and to feel good about it, because now you know you can swap out that bad, wrong idea with a better one that is good and congruent with what you actually care about? That's freedom. This place of being in this place that's so ego-driven, you can't modify a belief or criticize your own belief, no matter how long you've held on to it. There's nothing noble about hanging on to a belief that is hurting you and other people around you. But first, you gotta have your ego in check to recognize it, and then, hello, liberation. Freedom of the mind, man. Living a financially free lifestyle so that you can have your freedom of time and no longer be controlled and manipulated through the dependency of money to pay your bills. That kind of freedom, and all other freedoms, is always preceded by freedom of the mind. And putting ego in check it's a core pillar to achieving freedom of the mind, so that you can achieve all those other freedoms. All right, feel free to share this video, share it. And if you love health and fitness and clean eating, and not being controlled and manipulated through money dependency to pay your bills, and you want to learn how to make money on all these ideas like I have for the past decade now in a residual and passive context, then privately reach out to me and feel free to share this video. Bye for now.